Hi everybody, this is Stu Beagrie, who is the owner of AVL. Stu, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm all right, thanks, Graham. How are you?
Yeah, really good. It's quite sunny in South Shields. I've actually managed to put a little short sleeved shirt on.
Yeah, sure the missus didn't wash it and it was long sleeved.
Yeah, usually how it happens in this house as well. Fab, great to see you as always, and always good to have a chat. So looking forward to today's session. Do you want to tell everybody about yourself and AVL?
Yeah, okay. AVL stands for Advanced Vehicle Leasing. We're a car leasing and van leasing broker down on Teesside. Sunny Middlesbrough, the best team in the North East, as we all know. I've had the business since 1997. It's mine and my son's Clark, who's been in the business probably 11 years now. He's 29. And as Peter Kay would say, he's the garlic bread. The future. Yeah, we look after our customers. We like to think we do things properly. We do long-term leasing of every sort of type of vehicle. We even do a few lorries these days as the market's changing. So yeah, we're okay, we're good, we're profitable, we've got 20 odd staff, all good.
Good. We'll probably get into the staff a little bit because it's a difficult situation for a lot of people these days, and looking after your staff is really important, as I know how well you look after your customers as well, and how important that is for you. But if I just take you back a little bit before you started AVL, you worked for the Gazette, didn't you? Is that right?
Yeah, before the war.
Yeah, before the war. How did that transition take place? Because I work with a lot of businesses, and one of the things we always talk about is this transition between either a previous job or...
How did you get from there to there?
Yeah, how do you do that?
Yeah.
And how did you do that?
Well, I actually started off in law. I got my part ones in law. I left school and went to work for solicitors in Middlesbrough. A guy called Tommy Wilkinson, great guy, bless him. Still about. He's about 92 now. Devoted to his job. Wonderful guy. Worked there for 4 years, but decided I didn't want to spend the rest of my life in law. In between conveyancing and trying to keep people out of jail who shouldn't have been kept out of jail, I didn't really fancy it. So from there, I went to work. I looked around at a few things. I didn't know what I really wanted to do, but I didn't want to do that, as Meatloaf would say. So I finished up at the Gazette, working principally in the Stockton office in what used to be then called the circulation department, which became newspaper sales, which effectively was responsible for everything to do with selling and merchandising the Gazette. Back in those days, Evening Gazette on Teesside had about 112,000 circulation every night. To give you an idea, today's figures, I think at the last count, are about 18 to 20,000. But that's how times have changed. It's no disrespect to the Gazette, but you know, the Gazette sort of moved on. The products have moved on, and with the internet, we can get on your phones, you can get it everywhere. That's the way things have gone on. I worked there for 13 years, worked my way up in amongst it. I became manager of the Redcar office, which was nice for me in those days, as I lived in Redcar, so that was good. Let mum and dad come in and see me every day till I had to escort them off the premises. Worked there till I decided that local newspaper. In the meantime, I got married, and Clark was subsequently born, and decided I maybe needed a few more pennies. And local newspapers were never going to be the source of great income. I was never desperately ambitious, and still really aren't to this day, but I always wanted to earn enough to enjoy life. I went to work for Yellow Pages, which I wasn't in advertising before, but and they wouldn't normally have taken me on because I didn't have that experience, but I knew somebody in there who knew me and surprisingly wanted to take a gamble on me. They'd probably not seen my backhand at tennis, but they'd probably only seen my forehand, as you know. And I went there for 3 years, which was great. It was really good and some nice money. It's a great product in those days, Yellow Pages. Yeah. Again, something that's just stopped as times move past. Every office had a Yellow Pages. Every business had a Yellow Pages. Every home had a Yellow Pages. It was our Google back in the day. from there, I went to work. I looked around and looked for something that my supposed skills would give me a chance to utilise. The training you get from Yellow Pages in those days was very well received, very highly thought of. And I was approached by Barclays Bank to go and work for them in a side of the business called Dial Contracts, which was probably then back one or two of the leading contract hire and leasing companies. But for some unknown reason, they knew of me and they knew what I did. It seemed a good idea. I went to there and I was there for 3 years. I was then approached by AT&T to go and work for them. And I knew one of the guys from Barclays, who then was going to be my boss, and went to work for them again, rather nice money. But I haven't really got a clue what they were doing. I thought I had a clue. And a typical American company in lots of ways, very much health and safety meetings, and all these things that need to be done to run a big company. But the health and safety meeting could take a week instead of it being an afternoon or 2 hours. It took a week. You went on a course. I never went to the head office. I used to go to the head office about every 2 years, but I had to go on a course. I worked from home, on health and safety on my own, sat in a room and saw my customers. And subsequently, I moved on before they pulled out the market. I moved on and set my own broker business up with a guy who I had worked with at both AT&T and Barclays Dial doing this, who was my business partner, and that is back in '97. Unfortunately, he, let's say, lost his way a little bit, went through a divorce and all the things that affect people, took his eye off the ball, and probably was taking a lot more out of the business than was putting in. So we needed to separate, and that happened in the early 2000s. And since then, the business has effectively been mine, and as Clark's grown up and become more into the business, it's mine and his, so, which is nice.
Yeah, and it's a great business, Stu, if you don't mind me saying so, from a slight distance, which is about 40 minutes down the road at this moment in time.
It's not far enough, bro.
It's not, yeah, thanks for that, Stu. But I mean, you've done some fab things. So I've attended some of your Christmas parties that you do for your customers and your clients and your partners as well. And, the Tesla day that you had recently as well, that looked great as a great event. But you've always kind of come across as somebody who cares a little bit about your customers as well. And where does that come from? Because we do live in an age now where, some things tend to be a fight all of the time. You go into a shop and you want to change something because the product's wrong. It's a fight. Apart from with Apple, and I'll tell you that story later as well. But how do you get this? Let's just say it's almost American customer care with a British homemade company, isn't it? With you guys.
Yeah, well, I think you either care about people or you don't. Simple as that. It's not. Again, it's not rocket science. A lot comes from how you're brought up. My parents, we had 2 shops in Redcar, which were predominantly wool shops, sort of thing you wouldn't have anymore, a bit like an Arkwright shop, where we had wool shops and sold toys, rosebud dolls, and haberdashery, all of that sort of stuff. And say Mum and Dad run a business, or 2 businesses successfully, which my sisters worked in for a few years before then, when they went out in the big wide world. I one Saturday afternoon when I was going to work in the shop, and I was removed forcibly by my mother at about the age of 14, and never needed to set foot again in there from a behind the counter point of view. Yeah, I always watched Mum and Dad. They looked after people, and that it's an example, isn't it? Yeah. Half of what you do in life is you get from your parents or the people around you or your relations and people you work with or go to school with. And you like to think you pick out the best in what you see around them. They go into there and it stays in there. And stuff that might be you acquire naturally, or you try to do it. And if it's not you try and stay clear from them. I've always, I mean, you've only known me sort of 8 to 9 years, really, but I've always being the one that, if you like, was in charge of the group, in charge of the department, in charge of the tennis team, as we know, the one who organised the golf trip, probably because nobody else had asked me if I didn't do it myself. But always been that one, because I always thought, well, if I do it, it might not be perfect, but at least I know we will all get to the same golf club at the same time. We will all get to the tennis courts on a Thursday night at 6:30. If we're not there and somebody can't do it, I'll get somebody else instead. And the business is of a similar thing from that. Is I don't think it's wrong to look after people in this impersonal world we live in. I hear what you say about the Americanisms, but this "have a nice day" and have a no point in saying it unless you mean it.
Yeah.
There's no point. You know, you just get it and then people click and they're gone, and they've lost it. You can see the face. See how people are in the face. My mother used to always say that. You can always tell what people are like by the face. And I'm looking at yours now, and to be fair, Graham, I'm changing my opinion by the second.
No, we did talk about Love Island earlier on, Stu, so I'm taking that as a compliment.
Yeah, you take that.
Thank you.
No, but how people are, you know, you talk to other people, you and I, when we talk to each other socially, we look at each other. How many people do you know in life that don't look at you when you talk to you? Which, it's not rocket science to know they're being insincere, or they're not bothered about what you're telling them, or you're talking to them about. Or people ask for your opinion and don't really want it. They want to hear what they want you to say what they're thinking. They're not interested really in your opinion. And you've got to get those people and weed them out of life, or if they're in your circle, you've got to manage them best you can. It's as simple as that. But to me, the customer pays for everything in the long run. So it's common sense to me that if we look after that customer, they're going to tell other people that you look after them, and also come back. Because
I can remember you telling me once, Stu, in terms of your market that you work in, the retention and the return business is something, what, low 30%, and I'm not sure what yours is.
Normally, from what I understand, I'm not a great one for reading what everybody else is up to. I like to try and we look at what's going on in the world and try and just do our own thing and carry on doing it, which has been relatively successful. But the normal industry retention of customers, in other words, customers that come back at the end of one contract, is around about 28 to 32%. God knows what it's going to be after this apocalypse that we're going through now. But we work on about 92%, which is a credit to my guys, credit to everybody in the company, really. We look after people. Simple as that. We're there if there's a problem, like the world been as it's been this last 2 or 3 months. We're there. The least you can do is talk to them, or give them a bit of empathy, or come up with a plan for them that we can input. So yeah, around about early 90% is our retention, which is I'm pleased with.
I love what you just said there about looking after people, because I think everybody says that, but there is a huge difference between saying it and doing it, but also having the support of evidence to share with people that you do it. And my relationship with you over the last 8 and 9 years, or however long it's been now, has been about the fact that actually, if you say something that you're going to do, you do it, and you do look after people. And it's not just a tagline underneath the AVL logo.
Yeah.
With that in mind, Stu, then how are you supporting your own staff at this moment in time? Because it's difficult, you know. There's people out there who are being furloughed by the day still. There's people out there who can't afford to pay their mortgage, can't afford to feed their kids and stuff like that. How are you any different in terms of looking after and supporting your own staff?
I've just turned my phone off and refused to answer it. We haven't really been bothered.
Yeah.
All my staff are getting full wages while they're off. Obviously, if it went on for 8, 9, 10 months, we might have to look at things slightly different. But I'm equally aware that everybody has families to pay, to look after, bills to pay. I think it's fair to say a lot of people who have a job to go back to will probably be better off at the moment. I think it's because we've not got any expenses. You know, we're not going out for meals. we're not using the cars, which is annoying me because I want people to use them from our industry. But people aren't spending anything. There's only the domestic bills, and maybe we're eating a bit more at home, and in your case, drinking a lot more at home.
Thanks for the case of champagne that you sent up, by the way, as well.
You're very welcome.
It hasn't arrived yet, but I know it's coming because you always do what you say you're going to do, Stu.
I always, I realised it was with you paying your mortgage off by taking the empties back. And we talk to them 2 and 3 times a week, swap a few texts, emails, a few gags between you all that go around this way, particularly on blokes' phones. Now we all send stuff, as you and I do, to each other. And just check they're okay. It's the main thing. Just how are you doing with the family? How's it been at home? You know, some of them got 3 young kids. You've got young Jessica, bless her, at 6. It's a different dynamic of trying to work. Even my son, who's part of the business, at 29, I've had to chase him down while we do this, because it's like having a flipping Labrador wandering around the house, even though he's been working and earning money, unlike me at the moment, at this moment. But yeah, you just got to talk to people. Same as got to talk to your customers. Just check they're okay. Just check everything's okay. How's things going? Everybody okay? We've had a few that are probably, one of them rang me yesterday, less than 2.5 weeks. He was in an induced coma. And one of the early ones, sort of within about the first week. And he just said he couldn't believe it. He said, when he come round, he said, strangely enough, we don't see each other that often. And by that often, I probably mean maybe 20 times a year, even though we probably only live 3 or 4 miles away, and his business is only 3 or 4 miles away from our office. He'd come down to the office once a month, maybe, and I'll see him a little bit about the place. I see him at the Borough, at the footy. But he said he came round and he said, the first thing I thought of, he said, with you, which was frightening for somebody in bed, thinking that about me. But he said he's got a Cayenne Coupe, which is a real nice car. He said, in his own mind, I'd lent that out to a customer to have a look at it for him to try and sell it. And he said it had been in a smash. And he said at the same time his dog had been where they'd been axed and killed. And he said all he could think about was what I lent his car for. We'd been for lunch and his dog. And he said he was convinced it was real.
Yeah.
He said, and then when he found out he'd been asleep for 2.5 weeks, and he said he couldn't credit it. But he said, I genuinely said, I thought of you, which is weird. He said he lost 45% of his muscle fat. To be honest, it needed 45% of the other type of fat to be losing. He's a big lad. He's over 20 stone. He's got his own postcode. But he said, weak as a kitten, couldn't get the bottle off a bottle of water. Just got to try and build himself up soon. He's still out of breath. Yeah. Got to go back in about 3 months to check his lungs. They don't know how the long-term effects of this virus, even though he's probably 80% recovered now and out. It's still knocked him about. Yeah,
it's not very good, and we're all in a really difficult situation, and it is about just trying to get through this physically and mentally. And like you say, physically, if we catch it, how do we get through it, and mentally also, whilst either in isolation or through work or with family, you've just got to find ways of mentally stimulating yourself so you just don't get a little volleyball and put Wilson on and carry it around with you all day.
No, absolutely, yeah. Did you know where the name Wilson came from, by the way, in that film? That's his wife's name.
Yeah?
It is. When he was...
Her name, Phillips. Was she a singer?
Remember Schlesinger? Remember when he got coronavirus quite early, him and his missus? Mm-hmm. And then it was when we were away, I think, just before the lockdown. And I just Googled it when I was away, and it's his missus' name, Wilson. Yeah. So that's where he named the beach ball from. That's something that you can bring up in conversation.
Absolutely.
In the future, in the pub.
Every day's a learning day, isn't it? So thank you. We'll write that one down, and I'm going to keep it in my pocket, Stu. Thanks.
Yeah, and throw it in the bin.
for 6 months' time when I get to wear my shirt again and I get to go down the pub. So with that in mind, and AVL has done phenomenally well over the years, and it's been great, having some contact with you over the last 9 to 10 years as well. Or I like to say however many years it's been, but we are in a changing situation in terms of business and the world that we're living. Any foresight on how things are going to change for you, or how your industry is going to change going forward?
Well, there's a thing today. New car sales are down 97%. 97% on last year. Second-hand sales are about 96. We're probably at the moment running at about 25% of normal revenue. I've had an expression for a few months now, wagons in a circle, and that's effectively what we've had to do, and we're going to come out of this, I hope, within the next week or two, get back into the office, get the guys working. We've already got the office set up now. Everybody's got their own room, 3 and 4 yards apart, never mind 2 meters. But we're people. We like to see people. We like to talk. We're a cuddly office. It's that sort of where we are with each other. But we've got to be sensible. We need to interact, but we've got to get going. I think this lack of everybody standing outside of Asda in November in the wind and the rain, 2 meters apart, we're going to need to find a solution by then, because business is going to be decimated. It's already opening your doors, but if you're only going to run at 25-50% of what the income you need to run the premises, staff are going to go, businesses are going to shut. We've got to find a way to get around it. It's all right even working from home. You can do it for so long, but you're always eking into your capital. And in the end, somebody will make that decision. The people who run it, the shareholders, the people who want the money out of the business. I've got sufficient funds that we're up from a business point of view for 6 months. We're fine. It's a nuisance, but we're fine. Yeah. But once you start getting after that and you having to eat into things, you probably go, I tell you what, we better just draw a line through it, paying everybody off who you owe pennies to, all your usual debtors, managing everything, and moving on. You can't just keep being drawn. There's no point. There's no point. But it won't get to that. There's nowhere near. From our point of view, we'll be okay, because if people don't want to lease new cars, they can lease used cars. If they've got cars to get rid of, we can get rid of them for them. If they don't want to have another car, we can still get rid of the other car for them. If they want to close a contract down, we can do that. My mantra's always been, whatever the question, we should always be able to say yes, and find a way to sort it.
And we always have over the last however many years we've been on this planet. We found a solution. We found a better solution to get from A to B without getting eaten by a dinosaur. And we'll still find solutions. There'll always be something out there. And for me, that's certainly a mindset kind of thing. And that's about people and about what we do. And or it's about who we are, I guess, because some people won't. Yeah. Some people will still be sitting on their bums watching Netflix in 12 months' time. And some people will have just reinvented. They'll have taken this opportunity to be a little bit smarter, a little bit wiser, maybe a little bit thinner, and doing something that makes you a little bit better when you leave, because this is an opportunity. And everybody who I've spoken to for the last 400 years has always wanted to spend more time at home, spend more time with the wife and kid, more time developing their products, more time relaxing, getting fitter. Yeah, this is the perfect time. There's no excuse now. You can do it.
There's every job you can do. Every job, whether it's painting the fence, whether it's cleaning the grass, cutting the grass, we're going to say cleaning the front, all those sort of things we can do, but we're sick of doing them now. We need to get back to it. You've got to find a way to get back to normality. And you've got to find a way to function. But there's a lot of people who'll be happy to be furloughed forever. Yeah. But
it's not going to happen.
It's not a way to live. It's not a way to live. Simple as that. It's different if you're incapacitated or as we get older. Somebody your age getting past it.
I know 46 is honestly, I never thought I'd ever get to 46.
No. It's probably the highest IQ you've ever had as well, isn't it? We all need to keep doing things, because if you don't have a sense of purpose, you lose all the other stuff. You've got to have a reason to get up to in the morning.
And I think one of the things we talked about last time was culture, and I think bringing everybody back together again. It's going to need maybe a change in culture. It's going to need a bit of motivation to get everybody going. People have been sat on their bums maybe and watching Netflix, and getting people stimulated and motivated to go and work. And actually, in terms of productivity, they might need somebody to come on board and just help redesign that, because we're going to be in a slightly different mindset to what we were pre-COVID-19.
No, I think without a shadow of a doubt, everybody will do. It's affected. It's part of life's journey that we never thought we'd be on. We're on the Gladiator travel run where we've got Wolf, and we get past Wolf, and then Hunter's waiting for us. And you get past Hunter, Nightshade's there, and we're getting knocked to Billio here. And it's going to affect people. Really is going to affect it. So you might get it, but when you get to the end, you're going to have a bit of that at first till you get yourself back to normal, really.
I can't wait for some of the young kids to be watching this going, Google, who's Wolf? Gladiators?
It's coming back.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm not sure how you can hit each other from 2 meters.
In the pit yesterday. You've been in our bedroom. Oh, you have been in our bedroom, yeah.
Yeah. For the wrong reason, for the right reason.
Good luck.
Right,
good luck.
Stu, on that, I'm conscious of time. Thank you very much for your time. It's always great to hear from you. Interesting in terms of the whole process that you've gone through as an organisation, as a business. Love the little tagline, which is not a tagline, about looking after people and supporting and helping people. And, you know, the information that we've shared over the last 9 and 10 years has been fab, and may it continue. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. We had a taglines. We on a lot of our publicity, our promotional stuff. We have a little phrase: "Nice people to do business with." And I think wherever you go in life, that's how it should be. Sometimes you can't always say everything can't be 100%, but at least if you can do your best for people to try and fill in the gaps and make it forward, there's no reason why it should be awful. No reason why it should be awful dealing with people. Look after that lovely daughter of yours.
I will do. And for those technical people out there, if you guys subscribe below, press the little red button. We will also put on AVL's logo and all the contact details for AVL as well. So if you are interested in leasing a car, a truck, or a van,
oh, most certainly, yes.
Then
or
contact Stu or one of Stu's member of Stu's team, and I'm sure he'll be happy to help. Stu, thank you very much. Take care of yourself. Say hi to Geraldine and Clark, and we'll speak soon.
Always good. And you. God bless.
You too. Bye.
Take care.